Kiara, good afternoon. I'm Mary Joseph. I'm a licensed immigration advisor with HAV Global, based in New Zealand, Hamilton. And I'm coming here live from my office. That is, of course, you can see JB. And we are a New Zealand based education migration specialist. We promote New Zealand. Um, Sorry, just a second. I'm just going to quickly adjust this. Yeah, so we promote New Zealand as a migration destination. So I'm here today mainly to address people based here in New Zealand who would like information about immigration advice around future in New Zealand, around what are the policy changes. Because I think at this stage with COVID, there's a lot of uncertainty that people are worried about. They're worried about policy changes. They're worried about visa categories that are being constantly revised. People who've already applied are, sorry, my phone is ringing suddenly. It's a work day, so yeah. So it is kind of challenging for a lot of people. We do understand also because some of them have lost jobs. Thankfully, most of our students and clients are still employed. But yes, there has been a decline in certain industries, namely travel and hospitality and tourism. That is one of the biggest industries that have been on decline. Besides that, of course, the international education, which is one of the biggest contributors to New Zealand's economy. So there has been, what do you say, a decline of numbers because the borders being closed. But I'm here to basically answer those questions for you. If you have any concerns or if you want to understand, you have a particular situation where you want to understand how you can continue to stay in New Zealand, I can answer those questions for you. So before we have more people joining in, before we have questions coming up, I'm sorry, I'll have to share my license before starting the immigration advice. That's my number. It's 20181010. Sorry, 2018011050. You can go up on the IAA registry and check. So while we wait for the questions to come in, let's look at some of the recent changes that were made recently. According to the website, there have been a few changes, nothing alarming. Well, there have all been something that we were anticipating. So I'm just going to quickly share those changes with you guys. Just a second. So yeah, so there has been, the first one is there is a new priority processing order that was announced a couple of days ago. There has been new applications that have been added in the list for application. So earlier this, I think earlier this year, 2 or 3 months after the border closures had happened, Immigration New Zealand has announced saying that we will not process any applications filed from offshore. Now, this obviously put a lot of impact on partners and families of New Zealanders. So now they have now considered that concern, and Immigration New Zealand have started processing certain offshore applications, which are for partners and dependents of New Zealand citizens and residents. Uh, that is visitors and work visas, visitor visas for culturally arranged marriages. That is where if somebody is having their partner or to be to be married to you and you're based here in New Zealand, they're also processing visitor visas for them. Visitor visas for children entering New Zealand for adoption, and visitor visas for children adopted overseas before their NZ citizenship is confirmed. Please understand that even if these categories are processed, there is they have suggested that they will not issue the visas until a certain time. That is till the border restrictions are lifted or there is further exemptions made. So that's one thing. Now the other areas where they have started processing is Immigration New Zealand has also started EOI selections. EOI selections for certain categories. One of the most important category is the entrepreneur work visa category. Also, AJV is focusing and on this particular category. Now is the time more than ever that New Zealand as a country requires investors, people to come in and start setting up businesses. The country needs a boost of more jobs. So the entrepreneur work visa category could be one of the most important ones. And if you do have anything to spend, in terms of, say, if you've got a concept in certain areas, in say IT and science and technologies, and you have the money to spare, you could qualify for an entrepreneur work visa. Or if you've got straight away $100,000 to spend, that's another possibility for you to look at an entrepreneur work visa. It is a points based system. So in case you need some information, you can send us an email on info@ajvglobal.com, and we'll be happy to set up a paid consultation with one of our senior advisors who handles this category. We've got Arun, who's the director of the company, who's personally looking into this category of visas, because it's a very high value and a very, very high valued visa category, and it's a complex visa category. So if you would like to have a chat with our senior most advisor for an entrepreneur work category, you can also go on to our website and book a consultation from there. For an assessment and also to understand what the category is all about. Yeah. So you can head to our website and basically look at that information. Now, besides that, there has been a travel condition which has been extended for certain visa categories. Basically for people who are offshore resident visa holders, and there is definitely some extensions around that. So if you do have specific questions around that, we can answer, and we can always also come back to you and help you out with that. So that's how it is. So there have been a few changes, nothing significant for those who are based in the country. Okay, so there's no policy changes in the threshold of salary for skilled migrant categories or any other category. There's not been any changes on student visa policies. There's not been any changes on work visa categories yet. So there's no changes for people within New Zealand. Stay put. Please don't panic. That's what I can tell you. Right. So some ground rules. I think there are a few people joining in, and I can see one or two comments there. So ground rules of the session. If you are an AJV client and you're currently working with us for any of the visas, please state your details and your advisor's name. And if you are not an AJV client, then you will have to share your phone number with us so that we can then, assist you. So this session could be very, very short. If you're interested to get your questions clarified, please ask now. Because this, as I said, the session is mainly for people based here in New Zealand. If you don't have any questions, then, that's all right. But if you do have any questions, please ask them right away, because if I don't see any questions coming in, I may, wrap up and close the session early enough. Yeah. So we've got a first question here from Roma Bakshi, who says, do you have any WhatsApp number to contact? Roma, yes, we do have. Roma, can you confirm where are you contacting us from? Because if you're contacting us from offshore, then we've got an an offshore number, the India toll-free number if you're calling from India. But if you're calling from within New Zealand, you can call us on our toll-free number 0800 696977. Yeah, so please do call us on that. But if you're calling from overseas, if you're contacting us from overseas, please confirm that so that I can share you an overseas number. Yeah, thank you. Right. Sorry. The next question we have is from Om Prakash Bhattarai, who says, just came here. What about the partner of a student visa? Are they processing? So the partner of student visas at this stage is not being processed. It is on hold, especially the partner is based overseas. Yes, right now they're unable to process it, and that's the information on that. Right. Then we've got Anik Raghubanshi. Hi, Nick. Please go ahead and ask your question. Thank you. So, Nick says that you are in touch with Anne. That's great. Uh, okay, we still looks like it's going to be quite a quiet day of right. Anik, can you please specify your query here? Thank you. Okay, it's quite early. Usually, my team is also around. Um, it is quite early in India. They're all based in India, so I think about 6:30 in the morning there. So yeah, more by myself today. So if there is any delays in my response, especially with regards to a particular application, then please don't mind me. Yeah, sorry. Anik, your question is: I see there's a temporary 3 month or stay hold for all offshore visa reasons. Any reason for that? And if things are likely to resume post elections? Okay, Anik, we have been telling all of them that from in our various sessions that the reason there is a hold on processing offshore applications is simply because the border is closed. There's no other reason to it. There is no other uh, connection there. So basically, it is because the borders are closed, they cannot give you an entry permission to enter. That and also the offices that usually do process these student visas from offshore are based in Mumbai and say Beijing, and these countries are still under a serious COVID, effect. Hence, they're unable to open their offices and resume processing. So right now, we don't know about elections. Again, I don't know because the delays are not mainly because of elections, it's because of the borders being closed and because of the COVID situation. So we just have to wait. And if you are in Singapore, that's good. I mean, hopefully, Migration New Zealand will open up borders for certain countries sooner. Um, where the COVID numbers are lesser. So there are a lot of speculations. There's a lot of anticipation as well. So I think we just have to wait and see how it goes. We are hoping that Immigration New Zealand will announce sometime soon. And COVID, when it's a little bit in control in in the countries that are sending people to New Zealand. We have kind of eliminated COVID, but then if we start opening up borders, then we may not be able to manage it, and that is the reason we are taking care to do the right thing before we bring in visitors and students into the country or temporary migrants. So that's what it is, Anik. Yeah, it's not really connected to elections. Okay, right. We see just there are only about 7 people watching this, and I out of them 3 have already commented. So if you guys have any other questions, okay, we've got Anton Lakshan who says, will the post-study work visa end in 2021 December? What will happen next? No, there is Immigration New Zealand is not going to take away completely the post-study work visa policy. It'll be very harsh. Yeah, New Zealand does understand that international students coming here to study come with an expectation that they are given a fair amount of time to be able to find employment and earn money here in New Zealand. So no, Anton, I don't think it's going to go away completely. Yes, there could be a few changes based on the circumstances at that point in time. And December 2021 is more than 12 months away for us. So I cannot speculate and tell you what will happen. But being in this industry for 15 years, I can tell you that well, it will not be taken away completely. Yes, I mean when I started in the industry, it was only 6 months the post study work visa, and now it's come to 3 years. So it's only gotten better with time. So all you know is it can get better, or they may bring the time down a bit, or they can add some conditions and stuff. But taking away the post study work visa as a policy completely will not happen. Yeah. as far as we understand and our understanding of the industry and the requirement of the country is. Okay, because New Zealand as an economy, as an employment place, heavily relies on migrants for various skills. Yeah, for various levels of skills, not just in the LTSSL. So yes, yes. Okay, so we got a next one more question. Sorry, I've been answering a lot of questions without phone numbers. I please request any of the new ones who are pasting their questions to please add your phone numbers, because without that, I really don't think I'll be able to answer your questions. And sorry. So next one we've got Moni Venkat. She says, "Is there any news about bringing partners or student visa holders?" This is the same question that has already been asked above, so I'll answer that. At the moment, no. Offshore applicants or people with visas are not under the exempt list at the moment, if they're because there are border restrictions. Unless you have been given an exemption when you make an application, otherwise you can't enter New Zealand at this stage. The border restriction remains. So yeah, right. Okay. So I'll just wait for another minute or so in case there are no more questions. I will wrap up, and yeah, because I know that it's for many of you it is during the work day, so it could be a challenge to come online and watch the session. But okay, we've got Ankit Vagela. Ankit Vagela is one of our students. I'll go ahead and answer this. Hi, Ankit. Hope you're well. He says, can you start an online business on post-study work visa, or you need different class of visa to earn through e-commerce? It's quite blustery here in the city, by the way. Wind is howling outside. Okay. Yeah, Ankit. It is quite windy. In fact, in Hamilton, surprisingly, it's been quite windy for the past few days. Right. So, yes, you can do an online business. You can be self employed while you are on a post study work visa. You cannot work or you cannot be self employed if you're on a student visa, or if you are on an employer specific visa. Okay. So please be aware that if you're on work visas that are employer specific and you're on a student visa, you cannot do self employment. And online e-commerce kind of a thing also comes as self employment because you're not employed by a company. Yeah. So you cannot do self employment in those visas. But on the post study work visa, which is an open category, you can do self employment. Yeah. So that's no problem. That's why there are a lot of people also who do Uber and these kind of services, which is basically being contractors. So that's how it is. Yeah. Okay. Any more questions coming in? I hope so. I'm just going to quickly jump into YouTube. And okay, so we've got Matshan, MIT. He says, "Hi, ma'am. This is Mastan." And he says, "AJV client doing my master's in IT at Welltech." Great. Thank you so much, Mastan. My wife and kid have received work visa and domestic student on Feb, but they're still in India. Do you have any idea when they can travel from India to New Zealand? I know it would be a little funny, but thought of checking your view on this. San, at this stage, unfortunately, they are not on the high priority. So Immigration New Zealand is focusing on, joining families of New Zealanders and Kiwis, resident or citizens. So at this stage, they're focusing on that. And once that's happened, they will then move on to the next category. So they're working as per priority, and as a right, New Zealanders can come back to their country. So obviously, New Zealand, the government is, and also they cannot let everybody in because we have limited isolation spaces where you can stay in quarantine. It'll become a very big challenge when you open the doors wide and expect everybody coming in and accept everybody coming in. That will be a bit of a challenge. So that is the reason Immigration New Zealand is holding off from working on those categories or creating any exceptions in those areas. So it's all about management. It's all about being able to manage. So that's how it is. So we'll have to just wait to see what happens. And I'm thinking it's a matter of another 3 to 4 months. And if they already have visas, that means they just have to buy a ticket and come in whenever the border restrictions are lifted. So I'd say hang in there, and I think something or the other will be worked out soon. Yeah, thank you. Anton Lakshan says, "What is the pathway to PR to by doing PR by doing a self employment?" Anton, I will request you to share your contact information for me to answer that question for you. Thank you. Vishant Singh Chetri says unable to join. Sorry, Vishant, I don't know what do you mean by that. Please specify your question. Right. So I'm just going to quickly check if there are any more comments coming in. Just a second, please. Okay. Right. 2 more minutes. And if I'm not finding any more questions, I think I will wrap up. Yeah, it's been another very, very short session. So before I go away, in case you'd like to send us an email, you could write to info@ajbglobal.com. If you would like to call us from here within New Zealand, you can call us on 0800 696977. And if you would like to contact us in India, I can also, if you're based in India, you can then call us on 1-800 So that's the India toll free number, and the New Zealand toll free number is 0800 696977. So thank you very much, and those who have come in, not many, but whoever have come in, thank you very much for coming in and watching this session. We hope that you know you all are safe and happy, especially those in New Zealand. If you're in New Zealand, please call us for immigration advice on our toll free number. Thank you, and ka kite ano.